taking strategic steps to public has called this meeting to order. I'd like to open this meeting in the spirit of reconciliation. We'd like to acknowledge the territories, traditional territories of the people of Treaty 7 region of southern Alberta, which includes the Blackfoot Confederacy members Siksika, Kainai First Nations, Stoney Nakoda, Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Wesley First Nations, the Dene of Tsuut'ina First Nations, and the Métis Region 3, all of those that call home and Treaty 7 lands their home. Okay, well, that being said, welcome to the first council meeting of Diamond Valley, January 11th, 2023. Thank you to members of the public for coming today, and thank you to staff for attending. We are stoked to be here, and we are honored as your elected officials to represent you for the next 3 years. So, that being said, let's get rolling with a council approval of the agenda, I believe. Let me roll down here. Adoption of the minutes.
Just the adoption of the agenda.
Yep.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, do we have any additions?
There will be 2 additional closed session items, one under FOIP section 16 and one under FOIP 23-24.
Okay, thank you. That was it. Nothing else. Okay, I got a motion from Councillor Kloiber to adopt the agenda with the additions as presented. Anything further? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Public hearings, we have none. Question period. Question period is a 15-section minute of the meeting that we allow the public to ask questions of council. You can text, email, talk to a councillor, drop into the office, pick up a form, however you want to communicate with council and administration. We will take those questions. This is the time for those questions to be answered. Have we received any questions in any format at all, Ms. Fruit?
No, we have not.
All righty, Mr. Patience, anything on your end? Nope. All right, seeing none, we will move on. 5.2, we're moving on. Delegations, we have none this evening. 7, bylaws. 7.1, public hearing decisions. None required. So to 7.2, the council code of conduct. There, see, I moved through that agenda pretty quick. That was impressive, actually. All right, 7.2-1, bylaw 2023-01, council code of conduct. And we see that up on the screen for anyone who wants to pull it up. All right.
Did you pass the motion to approve the minutes?
Yes, sir.
I didn't have them all.
Not
ready
the
for you
minutes.
guys from the different servers. So
There's an unadopted minutes to be presented for adoption at the January 18th meeting.
Thank you.
So that one didn't require it. As this is the first council meeting, we don't have anything to adopt.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay, here we go. So council code of conduct is up here. Questions? Well, we'll let you guys lead off first with a quick intro, and then we can go to council. You're up.
This is a required bylaw under the Municipal Government Act. I basically use the, stop saying AUMA, the Alberta Municipalities template that was provided after the MGA amendments that required this bylaw. There are a couple of optional items within the template. Some of them I included all the ones on pecuniary interest because that hopefully just makes it easier for council members to understand their requirements. It's much simpler than reading some of the other documentation, so I left those in. The one thing I think that we should probably discuss later, because it may require an amendment, so we won't do it tonight, something to think about, is the section 14, gifts and hospitality. We did pare that back. It has all of the necessary things in it, but if you want to have a bigger discussion on acceptance of gifts, we can certainly do that at a different time and then make any amendments that you wish to make on that section. We can do that at a committee of the whole meeting. or at a different council meeting. So this is a requested, a required bylaw, so we're requesting that you give it all 3 readings tonight, and there are no further implications to that. We both had code of conduct bylaws prior. They basically said the same sorts of things in very different ways. So there's not a huge difference in the expectation of council's ethics or behaviors that are prescribed by the bylaw. So if you're good, we can move on and give it its readings. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer.
All right, excellent. I'll open it up to council. Points of clarity regarding the code of conduct. Do I have any takers? Councillor Martin.
Under formal complaint process, 17.1, what is an investigator? Who is an investigator? Is that like our CAO? Is it a staff member?
So it's defined. It can either be council. So that is within council's purview to decide. So council can investigate the complaint themselves, or they can appoint someone to do it for them. So it would depend on the nature of the complaint and how the scope of it.
Because it says council or the individual or body established by council to investigate and report on complaints. So it's not technically your CAO.
I would almost always recommend it not be staff, because that places staff in, first of all, in a really awkward position. So council could investigate their own complaint if it's, we use the phrase relatively minor. But it could be, if it were actually a complaint of criminal nature, you could reference to the RCMP for it. So that would be a bond. You could hire a lawyer. You could ask a member of the public to do it. Okay. It's within your purview to make that decision from the investigator. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome.
It's a really good point, actually, Councillor Martin. Because I think that was the case with Chester, was Councillor Gordon for really with, and they had a 4-person body, and they did exactly that. They went through emails and countless documents, investigating themselves. So definitely, when you cross that bridge, you get recommendations from administration and others to find out exactly how you want to move forward. So, but it's interesting, it doesn't say council in there has the power to do that.
It's in the definition of investigation.
Okay, good. Anybody else?
I was just going to ask if we could talk about it in the February committee of, yeah, if we could have that either. I think it's worth the discussion to talk about it. We had a cap for what we were allowed to take as a gift.
Yep.
And I just wouldn't want to see, a pair of hockey tickets going to somebody and then somebody getting in trouble for it. So that was why we had a limit on it. If they were science tickets, they'd be worth nothing. So
we're not as clear as but if I may through the chair, there are a couple of other pieces that are missing as well that I'm concerned for. So before I go into those pieces, I do want to ask them, Ben, you have mentioned in your RFD that we can look at this at the next committee of the whole, but I'm just wondering if it would be wiser for us to maybe have just the 2 hearings tonight, have those ready to go so that we can do that at the committee of the whole and then bring it back. Is it important that we have this passed this evening? Yes. It's imperative, eh? Because it's just one of those areas I don't want to see it missed. Like for instance, the piece that's missing for me is what's in the Turner Valley one is a conflict of interest regarding when current councillors can accept a role within the towns as staff. And we made sure we had that clarified in ours because there was past issues. And that's of course not in the present one. The section on conflicts of interest is quite minor or narrow in the new one as opposed to the other two. So I think we do have a lot of work to flesh out and get a bit more wholesome.
And so I would recommend that you go ahead and give it all 3 readings so that we met the basic requirements. And then we can, it's a bylaw. It can be amended. Easy peasy.
Councillor Hall.
I believe all or both Turner Valley and Buckton have one that we can't work from this problem.
We did, actually, it was longer than a year. It was a long term. Ours was 5.
Yeah.
It was, and I did remove that. It wasn't in the template. I did remove it based on past history. Applicants don't have to be hired.
That's true.
But that's certainly a conversation.
Well, I think Vern has the right idea here. This is the Alberta Munis template, code of conduct, is that we're going to conduct ourselves honorably, as we know and we have done in the past. I think we can go ahead with this, take it to the Cal, and make amendments and through discussion. Councillor Thompson.
Very well done. See, it's a D. I also think that I really like this because it's condensed, because if you get too complicated in your code of conduct, like you miss things, you know, so keeping it basic and following the guidelines of the template that was provided, I think is really great. But of course, we can discuss those other things as well, because I think they're fairly minor adjustments. So going forward with this tonight is a good plan.
Okay, thank you, Councillor.
First reading, that council agreed to give bylaw 2023-01, the council code of conduct bylaw first reading.
Any comments, concerns, questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank
I'll
you.
give you a second if you want.
I have Councillor Brennan. Second.
That council agreed to give bylaw 2023-01 second reading.
Excellent, thank you. Seeing none, all in favor? Oh, Heather, right down the line, perfect.
I'll give that council agreed to present bylaw 2023-01 for third reading at this time.
Thank you. And as you know, when we pass a bylaw in 3 readings, that motion is to hear, they're not given, and it has to be unanimous. So, all in favor? Excellent, thank you. And Ms. Veronica?
That council agreed to give bylaw 2023-01 third and final reading.
Thank you. All in favor?
And another motion.
Another
To
motion.
direct administration to make sure that this is on our February calendar. As a motion.
Yeah. All right, so I have a motion to include this specific bylaw on the February Cal meeting for discussion. All in favor? That's passed. Thank you. Okay, next one up.
So the next one up is your CAO bylaw. 2023-02. As with all the bylaws we have in front of you tonight, these are required to be passed this evening so that we can function and operate and understand if there are tweaks that we need to make down the line. We're certainly happy to do so, but we do need to put some of these in place. And this one is particularly important to your CAO because you must establish the position so that I can fulfill that role for you. Section 205 actually dictates that of the MGA. So it's a very basic bylaw, very basic template, nothing fancy here. This just establishes the position of CAO. And once you have completed that, we'll be seeking a resolution to appoint myself into that position.
Thank you. Oh, give a motion that council agree to give bylaw 2023-02 to the chief administrative officer's bylaw first reading. Questions? All in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Heather, was that a question or a? That's good. Excellent. Ms. Foote.
That council agreed to give bylaw 2023-02 second reading.
All in favor? Thank you. Councillor Kelly.
The council agreed to give, or excuse me, the council agreed to present bylaw 2023-02 for a third reading at this time.
Thank you. All in favor? And Councillor Gordon.
And last but not least, that council agreed to give bylaw 2023-02 third and final reading.
Thank you. Any questions before we call upon the vote? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you. And I believe we should appoint you now, shouldn't we?
I believe you have a motion coming up on screen.
There you go, Hazel.
The council agreed to support Sean Patience, appoint Sean Patience as chief administration officer for the town of Diamond Valley in accordance What's the terms of the agreed upon contract?
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. All righty, congratulations, Mr. Patience. You have a job.
Do we
Thank you,
clap
thank
for-
you.
Yeah.
Welcome to the team.
Good job. the other day. I know you were getting paid for that, so.
Thank you.
All right. Next one up, we have bylaws. 20 Here we go, designated officer bylaw, 2023-03. Ms. Verna, would you like to speak to that one briefly?
I can do that. So we did send an amended first draft out
Yes.
to you because it was really late when I was working on this. And I did need to consult with municipal affairs on a change as well that was resulted from our amalgamation and the staffing changes. So we did ask you for another designated officer and we did correct a typographical error. So I will put that one up here on the screen for you.
Okay. Numbers all the same, all good,
Yes,
all right.
yes.
So amended version, counselors, as seen on the screen, referenced.
Do you want the red line or the clean copy?
You can put up whatever.
I'll give you the red line so you can,
Yeah.
and the public can
No,
see
no,
what we
it's-
changed as well.
that'd be great.
So we make the print a little larger too.
I'll get a motion up here on the floor so we can get this party started.
I'll give it to you.
I got Deputy Kelly.
The council agreed to give bylaw 2023-03 designated officers bylaw first reading.
Thank you. All right, red line version, you have it in your email, it's on the screen as well. Any big changes here, Ms. Staples?
Just the addition of the finance supervisor. Anyone who is a designated check signer must be a designated officer. And that was the addition of a third staff member for both sides of us. Now the one unit
Now the
is
one.
being a challenge.
The new one.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right,
Now
excellent.
you know how I felt.
Any comments, concerns, questions from council?
Jonathan and I are sharing a laptop.
So you want to see that?
Yeah. So, 6.1.
Okay.
So what type of agreements would not, would a co-signature what type of agreements would a chief elected officer, official, pardon me, not be required to sign?
So there could be if I might, Chair, there may be a number of them. This past week, we've signed numerous agreements with MileNet, for instance, with our investment advisors, those types of agreements that wouldn't come to council that are internal to the operation of the organization.
Maybe just more the final financial agreement.
Many of them, usage agreements for software, those types of things.
Would not come.
Yeah.
And is there a certain amount? Is there a certain amount attached, a dollar limit?
No, not typically. But normally, if we're operating within our approved budget, then there's no requirement to bring it back to council for approval.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything large, like a land sale contract, those
Yeah.
types of things, obviously, there's a co-signature with the elected, the
Yeah.
chief elected officer, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And if I might, there was one other amendment to this.
Yeah.
And that was on section 9, where we just changed the word municipal assessor to community peace officer. It was just incorrectly described.
Good call. All right, excellent. Ms. Heather,
I give first reading for this.
we got that one, we're gonna vote on
Oh, sorry,
it. Seeing none?
missed that.
Quick X, all in favor?
Me.
There you go. I'll take that one from you now, though, Councillor.
Yeah, you're up.
To have council agree to give bylaw 2023-03 second reading.
Excellent, thank you. Any further concerns, questions, clarity? Seeing none, all in favor? And I will give the council agree to give bylaw 2023-03 third reading.
Sorry,
Present.
you need to present it.
Present, and we'll present.
Yeah.
So present. Seeing none, all in favor? Right, that's unanimous. And, Gordon beat you to it.
By council agree to give bylaw 2023-03 its third and final reading.
Excellent, thank you. Last chance. Seeing none, all in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Next item up for business.
Sorry, we need to appoint. I sent those out in your email
Yep.
as well.
I'll take that. Councilor Glover.
Apparently not. There we go. So I'm asking you for 3 resolutions tonight, 1 to appoint designated officers and 2 to appoint our ARB and ISDAB clerks, which were required to be appointed by council, but are not designated officers.
Yep.
It can be as
Read it
one.
off as seen on the screen here.
That council agree to appoint the following as designated officers for the town of Diamond Valley: municipal assessor Doug Jensen, corporate services and finance manager Corinne Middleton, planning supervisor Shirley Campbell, planning and development manager Roderick Ross, legislative services supervisor Ernest Staples, community peace officers Jim Berry, Matt Hogan, Simon Forby, and Trevor Bowe.
Is everybody clear? Any questions, concerns? Councilor Thompson?
Does our fire chiefs not have to be designated officers? Or is that done separately in their own bylaw?
I believe that's in right through their own bylaw.
Thank you.
All right, any further questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Resolution to appoint ARB and ISDAB clerks. Take it away, Hazel.
That council agreed to appoint Verna Staples and Lisa Brown as intermunicipal subdivision and development appeal board clerks for the town of Diamond Valley.
So I can continue on.
Do you need
Just one.
You do the
Two
separate.
motion?
Separate.
Yeah, do
Okay,
the
so
2
that's
motions
one.
separately.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Any comments? Sir? Oh. That's carried.
I'll give you the next one.
Thank you.
That council agreed to appoint Verna Staples and Lisa Brown as assessment review board clerks for the town of Diamond Valley with duties as prescribed by the Municipal Government Act and all statutes and regulations relating to the assessment complaint process. The clerk's remuneration will be in accordance with the employee's compensation.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none. Let me make sure I feel good. All in favor? All right, good. And that is carried.
Thank you.
Anything further on that one? I'm rolling on then to 2304 Diamond Valley FCSS Board bylaw. And I'll hand this one over to Sean for a quick intro. You can stick hand on it as you wish.
Sure. So the next one is bylaw 2023-04, which is our FCSS board bylaw, which obviously has been, we have Ms. LeBlanc here tonight, who is certainly capable of speaking to us. So this is a culmination of our 2 board bylaws, as we amalgamate these 2 boards under one new title. So Ms. LeBlanc has done a lot of the work on this, and I would invite her to speak to this if she would like.
Just so much. Good evening, council, through the chair. Yes, the board has been working, both boards have been working together since for some time. It has been tradition that when applications come through and presentations are made, that the 2 are jointly listening to those presentations and asking questions just for basic efficiencies. But in this particular bylaw has been combined in terms of some adjustments. We really wanted to value and respect the experience that is on the board and wanted as many as possible for those that wish to transition to be allowed to do so. Therefore, there is a minimum set as opposed to a maximum number of board members. We do expect that there will be some changes, some reservations in the upcoming months, but for the time being, at a time where it's really important to have that kind of experience around the table, we have that slate that you'll see as requested to be appointed this evening. In addition to that, we put a minimum of 4 meetings as opposed to a monthly meeting, really to do it on an as-needed schedule as opposed to having to meet when perhaps there's not enough business to warrant the time and effort that goes into those. So that highlights, are there any questions on it?
Councillor Holiday and then Councillor Martin.
Yeah, I'm just wondering in 6.2, it talks about the town of Bluff Diamond bylaw being, and all amendments being rescinded. Why would we make a reference to that if we're not rescinding Diamond Valley? I'm just wondering, with the new creation of Diamond Valley, do we need to have some rescinded?
So, if I might, sorry, I didn't know Lisa for the answer to this, but there, Trinity Valley's bylaw actually falls under our committee's bylaw, which will be rescinded with the approval of the new committee's bylaw, so. That's that.
So going forward, like, most of our bylaws have to rescind old ones
Yes.
as we go through them over the
Yes.
coming years? Okay, I just want to impress things.
Okay, so not the last time we'll go see that. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Wong? Councillor?
I don't know if this is the time to ask, but under the terms of reference, it has that the board will be comprised of representatives from the community of Diamond Valley in area. Now with a larger population, Nick, do you see that we would have to go outside of our Diamond Valley to attract any more board members?
Thank you for your question, Mr. the Chair. I don't believe that it's necessary to go outside of per se, that it's really that we're trying to base eligibility on the quality and the experience that's being brought to the table. So we didn't want to limit it to the municipalities because often we do have people who are living very close to the area that would add value and benefit to that particular board. So I think it was just left open to allow for it, but is it something that we would seek deliberately?
Yeah, I guess for me, I'm just thinking that, you know, 5,500 people, I'm sure that we would have our challenge right here, that we wouldn't have to go beyond our borders. Like I personally just get to see that part.
Certainly through the chair, the only thing that I would counter on that is that it was really based on the most benefits to the community. So looking at experiences that a board member would be able to bring to that particular board.
Now, is FCSS the only committee that we look beyond?
No. No, and if I might, as we move forward, you'll see that phrasing in a few other bylaws, especially when we get to the committee's bylaw. And I would also say, and I certainly understand the point you're making, but we also want to recognize the fact that we've got a lot of local residents that live in the county that also support our businesses, our schools,
They're
our
very much
nonprofit organizations, and a lot of them very involved in the community and volunteering in different roles. And so all this does was allow their participation in the board or the council feels that that would be a positive benefit to the boards.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Gordon.
Yeah, if I may speak to that through the chair, one of the committees I've been privileged to be on for about 5 years now is the Economic Development Committee. And the members at large are actually live in the region, and they add great value to our community, as I think Councillor Clover can attest as well. So I love having that option of the area because there are some resources that people can bring the different expertise. I think it's a good idea to maintain that through the majority of our terms of reference. So I would support that. So I like to see that inclusion.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. With that, let's get ourselves rolling on a motion here. Councillor Thompson.
I believe there's a few administrative updates that could be done. I can't find the email you sent, Rona.
There is, in the terms of reference, there is a duplicated statement.
Number 3. the first line, number 1.
Section 5.3 in the meeting procedures is the one I would recommend that you delete. And section, the copy of it is section 6.
Under leadership and governance structure.
6-9.
Thank you.
Board shall select its own chair and vice chair.
We're here to work together.
So I think 6.9 makes more sense in terms of it being about leadership and governance structure to keep that one and remove the other one from meeting procedures.
3-5. Or 3-4. sorry. Some of them are
5.3.
5-3.
5, okay. So we gotta say, annually the board shall select its own chair
That's the
and
ones
vice chair.
that, but if you look at 3 again, membership composition and appointment terms, the first line and then number 1 are identical.
Should have
Oh,
been
yeah,
that.
right.
So they are.
That's just a duplication as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, it
that
is, yeah.
We can move forward with passing, that's just administrative, so.
As amended.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't think that you even need to do that. It's just a admin revisions.
Typographical correction that
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
require an amendment, yeah.
And it doesn't change the
It doesn't change the intent of the bylaw.
Worth it to know.
Just for point of clarification, if I may through the chair ask our admin on this one, I am to understand that the current members have reviewed the terms of reference and they're in support of this. Is that what I understand?
Thank you, Councilor Gordon, through the chair. Yes, this was reviewed in a few of the meetings, and we had basically a strategic planning session held in September, and they have been reviewing them prior to that. So these are recommendations going along with, of course, administration staff.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Thompson, I'll take a motion from you with the word amendment.
This one?
No, I don't think we need the as amended. do
This is
we?
just what,
No,
No, is there just clerical? If they don't.
not taking 5-3, that was a duplication.
Yeah, duplication.
Yeah,
Oh, my
I'll remove
apologies.
3.1 and 5.3.
okay, well, I just know.
So the council agreed to give first reading to bylaw 2023-04, the Diamond Valley Family and Community Support Services bylaw.
Excellent. Any further questions or clarity regarding the bylaw? Seeing none, all in favor? Hazel?
Of that council agreed to give bylaw number 2023-04, second reading.
Excellent, thank you. All in favor? Councilor Gordon?
That council agreed to present bylaw 2023-04 for the third reading at this time.
Thank you. All in favor? That is unanimous, thank you. And Councilor Kelly?
The council agreed to give bylaw 2023-04 third and final reading.
Last chance. Any concerns? All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Moving on to our next item up for business. Scroll over here. We have request for decision bylaw 2023-05 Municipal Planning Commission. All right, I'll let you introduce this one lightly as well. I believe we have the same volunteer base. We'll be probably stepping forward here for some decisions later as well. Mr. Patience.
Thanks, Mark Green. So bylaw 2023-05 is a municipal planning commission bylaw, and this is required to establish your quasi judicial municipal planning commission. This is an important bylaw to pass, as we need to deal with development applications as they come in. Mr. Ross, Manager of Planning and Development, is here this evening, and I know he has worked on this bylaw, and I will allow him to speak to it and introduce the council.
Thank you. Mr. Ross, is there anything here you'd like to point out for us that may be of any concern? Or anything you're really excited?
That's
Who sits on this?
It is exciting. So the bylaws, land use bylaws for Black Diamond and Turner Valley will both continue to apply within the new town. Both of those bylaws assign certain development and subdivision power to the municipal planning commission. So it's necessary for council to pass this bylaw to establish the MPC so that we continue to have a functioning development and subdivision authority. This bylaw was based on Turner Valley's MPC bylaw that was passed in 2018. The key provisions to the bylaw include membership will consist, is proposed in the bylaw to consist of 4 members at large and 3 councillors and 1 alternate councillor. The members at large would be appointed for 4 years. The MPC would act as a subdivision and development authority as outlined in the respective land use bylaws. The practice is to have the municipal planning commission serve as development authority on all discretionary use applications, although in both bylaws allow the development officer to act as a development authority on discretionary use applications too. And from time to time, a development officer will use their authority to make an approval and make a decision and not refer to the MPC for a decision. The MPC is granted greater discretionary power in terms of certain development standards and regulations, so more various power than the development officers do. And the MPC is the sole subdivision authority. In addition to acting as a planning or subdivision and development authority, the MPC, as outlined in this bylaw, can also advise council on a variety of planning matters. So the MPC could review applications to amend the land use bylaw, which would change the zoning on the land use bylaw. The MPC could review an application and provide council with its recommendation on council is making a decision on application to amend. Similarly, the MPC could also review applications to amend or to adopt statutory plans, such as a new area structure plan for an area. And the MPC could also advise council on intermunicipal planning and development issues if something is proposed in proximity to the town. The MPC could provide comment to the council on those sorts of matters.
All right. Thank you. Council, any questions? Council Farber.
Question of the term for the members at large. 4 years, is that to coincide with council terms, or are they going to be staggered terms? Why 4 years?
Through the mayor. It was what was in the Turner Valley bylaw. I expect it will likely be staggered as some members of large may step down for various reasons, and the replacement would be appointed for a 4-year term.
Just to speak to that, that's exactly what it was, to allow a whole new council come in, few members at large with a staggered term could add that continuity to the MPC committee. So yeah, that's exactly. And you can serve 2 terms and then you're done as a member at large. So you get 8 years and no more. It used to be endless.
Yeah.
So we crushed that down because it's kind of like in the States. You only have the president for so long. Anything else? Any other questions? Councilor Thomas.
Just a comment, it'll work out really well this time because of the MPC members at large will go into that 3rd year because the election, of course, will be 3 years for us. So that'll work out really wonderfully for continuity going into the next election and things like that.
It's been officially staggered by the fact
Yeah.
that we've had
It's been officially
second
staggered.
election.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Councilor Gordon.
Yeah, if I may pick up on that piece of continuity of having members at large being around the table for a minimum of 4 years. If I may, through the chair, ask Mr. Ross, is there value to having councillors continue more than just the 1 term at our organizational meeting every year? we review our committee assignments. So I'm wondering, from your perspective, it's valuable to have a continuity of counselors for more than the 1 year. The reason I do ask that, other committees we've been on have asked that as well, where they have preferred, like an executive director, for instance, community features in the past, as required in their articles of association, that counselors who've been appointed to that actually go beyond the 1 year for continuity's sake. So I'm just wondering if there's value from the NPC in that perspective.
Through the mayor, certainly that there's value in having continuity. This is a learning curve, and it takes a bit of time to get familiarity with the regulations and the plans. So there's certainly value in having some continuity. There's also value in a fresh perspective too. Yeah, certainly there's. It's worth having a degree of continuity.
Thank you.
And Councillor Hallway, last comment up. And then we'll
Yeah,
take
just a couple quick comments. So for somebody that's been on NPC previously, is their term starting out 2 new terms starting now, or do we still count the previous?
Good question.
Like if they served for 7 years in NPC and one community, are they up for another 8? Possibly, or we?
Yeah, if I might, because this is the town of Diamond Valley, municipal planning commission bylaws, it would be a fresh start.
It will be a fresh start, okay. And just because we do have 2 land use bylaws, so currently on NPC, and now we're gonna have to work on 2, is there gonna be some sort of training for new NPC members? You know, once we get started? Because I think it's one of the most technically difficult movies.
Through the mayor, certainly it was my intention at the inaugural meeting of the NPC to provide a bit of an overview to the planning training. We talk about the committee's bylaw, some of the obligations that the
Good questions, Councillor Hall. Good councillors, good questions, everyone. Everybody got intercept. Like me. Make a motion, Brendan.
I'll give it to you. We are. Which one am I page here? Yeah, okay, the council agree to give bylaw 2023-05 first reading.
Excellent, thank you. Any further comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? I will give a second. That council agreed to give bylaw 2023-05 second reading. Second chance, seeing
I
none,
can do it.
all in favor?
You can do 3.
I can give you a vote.
All right, and 3, Veronica.
The council agreed to present bylaw 2023-05 for third reading at this time.
Excellent, thank you. All in favor? Did you put your hand up?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Hazel kind of does this. Is she going for a question or what's she going for? All right, good. And I'll take the third and final, please. Councilor.
And council agree to give bylaw 2023-05 its third and final reading.
Thank you. Last chance. Seeing none, all in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Scrolls on our next one. Next one up is procedure bylaw. I will go over to Mr. Patience for this.
Thanks, Mayor Green. So the procedure bylaw is really what directs your meeting and your meeting schedules, etc. So Verna, if I might have you introduce this and walk council through this particular bylaw.
Sure. So currently there are 2 of these in place, but really they're different. We should have one. And there just wasn't time to put this one together for this meeting. It is not a required bylaw under the NJ. It's a nice to have on the list, and it's important for you guys. So I would elevate it beyond nice to have, and we'll recommend that we have a bigger discussion about this at the committee of the whole. We have been looking at the differences in them, and we'll give you guys some choices and some information and come up with a brand spanking new one for the town of Diamond Valley. In the meantime, I would maybe ask that we can't adopt one, but maybe we could acknowledge the one that we're going to use until such time as we do pass one. And so geographically, the bylaws apply. So I would just suggest that we use the Black Diamond one for now. If you're agreeable with that, and we'll continue to work and bring something forward.
We'll bring that to the February calendar soon.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go over to Councillor Kelly.
Seeing as it's coming back, if you'd like a motion, I'll give it to you.
Absolutely.
Okay, the council agree to acknowledge the Black Diamond Procedure Bylaw 2020-16 consolidated as the temporary standard of procedures for Diamond Valley Council and its committees until a new bylaw can be passed.
Okay, thank you. Questions, concerns, thoughts? Councillor,
Just under adjournment, it said, I guess Black Diamond, you're, would adjourn no later than 11 p.m. Turner Valley, we always did at 10 o'clock. Should that be a?
welcome to Black Diamond.
Party town, Hazel.
Well, I'm glad it's coming back, yeah, because it's gonna be 9 o'clock, guys.
Yeah, and so these are going to be the differences that we'll be
Yeah.
discussing in February and putting into your new bylaw, whatever it is that you wish to have in your.
So this one really, if I could, so really, this is one that we want to go through individually and redline ourselves,
Yeah.
more so
Yes.
than
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah, I've got I'll tidy it up because right now it's really kind of messy. It was just meant for Lisa to look at originally. But I do have a comparison document, which I can send out if that will help a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It's big. But it might help you understand, because it's not all in the same order either. So it will help you understand what sections are different and which ones need to be amended. There are some amendments required by the MGA to both of them. So we'll take a look at all of those things. But I can give you that document and let you have a run. Does anybody have any other questions besides what time do we close business about bylaw?
I just wanted to discuss council.
Sure, so, yeah, no, you can go ahead now, and then I think I got one from Heather.
Just for everyone to remind me to discuss, do we want to do council reports? And I had some questions about minutes from other committees as well.
That's what we covered under procedure bylaw. though.
I was just telling everyone.
Yep, no problem there. And Councillor Thompson?
No, not really. I'd like to, again, simplify the procedure bylaw and condense it a bit so that it's not so onerous to look into and stuff. So I'd like to see anything that's already covered under the MGA taken out of this. I haven't done a good look at this at all, Verna, so I would do that before the meeting and make those suggestions from there. But that's just, if it gets too big and bulky and onerous, it's harder to follow. And it's just to be able to be simplified to the point of, if it's in the MGA, it's in the MGA, refer to the MGA. If it's something that we would like in our order of business, et cetera, then that's what should be in the procedure bylaw.
All right. Seeing none further and reminding Councillor Clyburn that, what are we going to tell you? Minutes and
Council reports.
council reports. In February.
That's number 2.
So the motion again, Mr. Kelly,
Yeah, you want it again?
just verbalize it again.
Absolutely. The council agreed to acknowledge Black Diamond Procedure Bylaw 2020-16 consolidated as a temporary standard of procedures for Diamond Valley Council and its committees until a new bylaw can be passed.
Excellent. Any further comments, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? There we go. And we don't need to reference February. It will be
Number 2.
number 2.
It's a motion.
Councillor Clyburn.
The council agreed to direct legislative services to add procedure bylaw to the February committee of the whole agenda.
Done and all in favor. right. Moving on. Scrolling once more, here we go, next item up. Quality management plan for the delivery of safety codes services. Well, that's a mouthful. I will give it that. Mr. Patient, stick handle, top corner, over to Mr. Ross. That's how it's gonna go. But we'll go back in time.
That is actually
Mr.
how it's going
Patience.
to go. So this is our QMP, or quality management plan. And this is required as a part of us being a credit municipality for the delivery of safety code services. Obviously, which would include plumbing, electric and gas, private sewage disposal, fire disciplines as well. So this particular bylaw has been received preliminary approval from the Safety Codes Council. And we do require a QMP in place so that we have continuity in the delivery of our permitting and inspection processes. And Mr. Ross, if you would expand upon that, please, for council.
Certainly, there's not much more to add. It's that's essentially, in a nutshell, we need to have this quality management plan in place in order to be able to administer the Safety Codes Act. This quality management plan is based on the template that's put out by the Safety Codes Council. Black Diamond and Turner Valley had identical quality management plans. Both towns employed had a contract with the same Safety Codes agency, Art Inspections. The only difference between Black Diamond and Turner Valley's quality management plans was with the around the fire discipline. Black Diamond inspected on a 24-month or 12-month or 24-month basis, depending on the type of occupancy, whereas Turner Valley inspected based upon request and complaint. So the fire department has given direction that the quality management plan is similar to what Black Diamond had, and inspect on a 12 or 24-month basis. So that's been submitted to the Safety Codes Council. They've given preliminary approval to the quality management plan. So it requires council endorsement for the final.
Excellent, thank you. Councilor Alvey, I'll take that motion.
No, I have a question.
You can throw it up there, no question.
Okay. I will give you the motion that council agree to adopt the Safety Codes Administration Quality Management Plan as presented. Then the question, this 12 to 24 month basis versus complaint basis, that's for businesses. I just believe that Turner Valley, they're not used to that, and we know the change. And is the 12 and 24, is that better, like a standard practice throughout most municipalities, and we're behind on it, or Turner Valley? Or
I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't know for sure, but the template document that's published has several options, and complaint or upon request is one of the options. So it gives, the document gives the municipality the option to choose between several different options. So Turner Valley chose complaint basis, Black Diamond chose 12 or 24 months. So understanding that it's one of the options, I assume it's not uncommon, but I don't.
I'm just worried about businesses that have used to the old way, seeing this as being intrusive, as a negative thing, you know? Maybe not. I think it's better to do it regularly.
In Black Diamond, we have incorporated it into the business license renewal process. So you would have your annual fire inspection as part of the business license renewal.
I think it's fine. I think we just need some communication on a change to our businesses.
Okay, we got Councilor Kelly and Gordon.
Just to follow up then, with Councillor Holiday, is there a cost to having the inspection?
That's a good question.
Because that would be one of the things that, you know, we have businesses all of a sudden that may happen. Sorry, is there a cost?
Yeah, Chair, there is, the first inspection is free. It's basically your business license fee covers that inspection, but the subsequent, the failure inspection, the required inspection, there is.
Okay, but so 12 months passes, you come in, do the business license, do the inspection, you pass, there's no cost there. Okay. That's
So that's an annual turnover.
Yeah.
That's business friendly. Yes, good. Councillor Gordon.
Yeah, it's along the same line with fire inspections. The concern I have with this is, and I'm cautious in how I word this, within most of our building codes and even in the fire code, there are some pieces that are subjective. And it could be interpreted by one person as this way, and could be totally interpreted as another person regarding this way, correct? So would it be wise for us, in the event of a subjective decision being made, is there a recourse for appeal on behalf of the business owner? How can we go about doing that? I'm cautious in opening that Pandora's box, but when there's subjective elements open up for interpretation, it can really lead to disagreement. And so the dangerous path that goes down, if the person's issued non-compliance on a subjective element, another inspector can come in and say, I don't see an issue here. So what recourse can we provide our business owners in that event?
I'll cut you off if I can. We have a context. Black Diamond Council doesn't have a context of what you're talking about. So this would be something we can bring administration up to at a later date.
Well, that's why I'm concerned about bringing it forward and approving this at this, with such a big change, right?
We can amend it and we bring it to our Cal. And
Yeah.
it would be a good call.
Yeah.
For the time being, it's what we need. It's not. But I know exactly where you're going because I had the same thoughts, but I was like, big can of worms and we need other people on his feet.
Yeah.
In particular, Ron. So I'm gonna deflect that one from you. I'm just gonna absorb that and we're gonna take that to the Cal.
Solid.
Awesome. So Councillor Thompson, we do have a motion.
So Fresh Slate, Turner Valley businesses will be getting this first inspection free. Correct. So that will give them the peace of mind and the communication will happen that way when they renew their business license. Is that in? Are they the same yet?
So we did align, if I might, to share.
I figured we
We
did.
did
but-
align the business license bylaws in November.
Okay,
So here
Yeah.
would be, okay,
that's great. So that would give the heads up. That way, when they go, it'll be on information that they receive when they get their new business license. Correct? Okay, thank you.
Councillor Boyle.
So if a new business fails their inspection or inspection is not done, do they not have occupancy or their business license is issued? How does that work?
Their business license is not issued until they satisfy the requirements of the fire code.
So there is a pretty big discrepancy.
Yes.
Okay.
So. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering if we can add this as a closed item later on in this meeting and to continue the discussion. I'd like to question this closed. Never interested in this one, the exact process. I went after 5 years. But I don't wanna, I don't wanna have a vote on this or decide on this until I have a chance to.
Yes, we can-
Is administration closed?
we can defer.
Yeah.
What do you
Is it
do?
unanimous?
Withdraw my motion.
I make a motion.
Oh, yeah, yeah, sorry, right. Go to Councillor Thompson.
And that's,
Table, sorry. not defer.
yeah, that's an agenda amendment to add that at this point. And I think this is something that needs to be passed this evening so that we're in alignment. So
It's not say.
I think that we can discuss that at, maybe enclosed at the COW, and this can move forward. That's just my thoughts. Because I know what the concern is coming from the Turner Valley side, so I don't think that, I think that will be fine to move forward. But a discussion enclosed to bring the Black Diamond side up to date on that and the reasoning behind that would be. But I don't think you could
I
do
just
that
wanna-
tonight because it would
Not
be a
tonight,
major.
or,
You know, we could bring the update to next week, January 18th. So we can get this ahead, we can get this ahead and we can give Black Diamond a full debrief next Wednesday in camera on the specific.
if you guys don't need it tonight. it's
Rod, can
document-
can we last another week without it?
There's a process for amending the agenda. It's right here, 10.7. Yeah.
Center procedure bylaw.
Yeah, you said in Black Diamond, so. 10.7, okay, we just passed. So,
Read it.
no late submission may be added to the regular meeting agenda after adoption of the agenda unless approved unanimously by council. Okay. So, can I remove my motion and then the motion to add this to the closed session, discussion to the closed session? Or table, and then table. After you come out of closed, you can finish this.
Your motion to close.
You can withdraw your motion.
Yeah, I'll withdraw the motion and then make the motion to add, to go into, yeah, to have discussion closed on this item.
So then the agenda.
Is that gonna be kosher, Councilor Thompson?
We just-
If this has to go forward tonight, then we need to do it. So, yeah, that's fine.
No.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Whatever your
I don't want to
curiosity.
know what you guys know. I guess.
Now you want to know.
Jeez.
He's gonna know. He's not
Keep
gonna
me in
know.
the dark over here.
I don't know.
Okay, so we've got a rescinding of motion, so that's done. And now we have a motion
Amend
to,
the agenda to forward this item to the closed session.
yes. And then we'll have a motion to close.
That's our only thing in closed
Yeah, I mean, we could technically go into close, but we have to pick up
Yeah.
public and it's
We'll
just,
do
it's easier to do it later.
Everybody understand what the motion is?
Yeah.
Table this to close, okay, all in
Don't use the
favor?
word table.
And that's carried unanimous. Thank you very much. Moving on.
You get one from me tonight, that's it.
I like you and all of this is your one. All right, I'm scrolling here for my next question. Truck. Yeah, here. I just saw an order chart. Can I go back here? Come on.
Page 129. That's what I use.
No, almost there. It's been 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 21. Here we go. John Diamond Valley request for decision, truck requirements for change of shareholder. All right, would you like to give us a quick rundown? And it's right here, probably just read it right out of that. Not much more to it?
So essentially, if I might, Mr. Mayor, so
Absolutely.
these are required documents as part of the corporate transition for the Schrock shareholders agreements and the Schrock board membership. So you have in front of you an amended and restated unanimous shareholders agreement, USA shareholders resolution, amending bylaws. And the amended and restated bylaw 1 is also attached as part of Schedule A on this resolution, and the shareholders resolution approving the unanimous shareholders agreement. These are required to remove Black Diamond and Turner Valley from the shareholders agreement and instead replace it with Diamond Valley. The shares will go from 45 apiece for each of those previous communities to 90, with Town of Diamond Valley with 10 being held by Foothills. And Longview holds a number of non-voting shares. And the board of directors shall be changed as requested by JFAC to have 3 appointed directors from Diamond Valley, 1 director from Foothills, and Longview as a Class B shareholder shall not be entitled to appoint any directors. So the resolutions are in front of you for approval, and I would request that council approve the recommendations of administration.
Thanks. Thank you, Councillor Kelly.
You want the motion? That the Diamond Valley Council authorize the mayor and the CAO to sign the attached amended and restated unanimous shareholders agreement, shareholder resolution amending bylaws, shareholder resolution approving unanimous shareholders agreement. I had a hard time with the USA.
I know, I kept thinking the same
Skip
thing.
right over that one. Yeah.
Mer. Okay, excellent. Straightforward, nothing changed. Everything's just straightforward, no red line version of anything specific. It's all simply an amalgamation. Oh, I use that word again, of the shareholders. Into one. Councillor.
I have a question, only because I couldn't find it in this document, maybe there's another articles of association or something was struck. But if on perchance we decide that we want to assume control of our water utility ourselves, is there a dissolution clause in here? I don't see one. Would it need to be in the shareholder agreement, or is that in a separate agreement?
No, that would be a
That's
separate,
separate.
that would be an
Operating
operating
agreement.
agreement.
Gotcha, that was my question. Okay, thank you.
Same one for you. Excellent. Seeing nothing further, we have the motion. All in favor?
I asked one more question. How long is the operating agreement in place for?
3 years.
Well, today, it's this year is the end, right?
I don't have it in front of me, sorry to
I
answer
think
that,
it's
but I can certainly,
2023 and then they have 3 years.
it's possible. I can confirm that for council, but I don't have that information in front of me at the moment.
Will you please, Sean?
I can't tell you.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Okay, moving on to the next one. That's always required, right? The others are proposed resolutions, but we don't need those.
Yeah.
Just recommendations.
Yeah.
All right.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
Oh, well, I passed the vote, so we can all in favor again. Sure. Just unanimous. It was passed, I just allowed the follow-up question. Next one, scrolling. No. Man, oh man, these are long documents.
Yeah, go to 199.
No, that's only one pager.
Almost there,
I like that.
almost there.
Pretty short RFPs.
Here we go.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Pretty good.
I like that.
Yeah, the Alberta Community Partnership Grant Application.
Correct.
Let's go for it.
I'll give you that motion.
Mr. Patience, you want to introduce that one? And
Certainly.
take right up there.
So as all of the members of council recall through JFAC, we are eligible for certain funding regimes through the Alberta Community Partnership Program to the provincial government. Municipal affairs and our advisors have actually been stick handling this with the ACP grant folks and are preparing that submission and require a resolution of council to support the applications. As you recall, at JFAC in December, instruction was given to administration to make application for the infrastructure and debt servicing stream of $950,000 to make application to allot $900,000 to West End and $50,000 to building renovations. As well, we have access to transitional stream post restructuring, which is where we are today, for $250,000. Administration has reviewed our requirements and proposed the use of that stream. We've broken down as $230,000 in personnel costs and $20,000 in relocation of municipal operations. I have provided council with resolution options, and I would recommend that council accept administration's recommendation on this particular area.
Lovely. Councillor Holmes.
I'm happy to give you a motion. Yeah. The council supports the Alberta Community Partnership ACP grant applications in the amount of 950,000 from the infrastructure debt servicing stream and 250,000 from the transitional stream, post restructuring as per the 2022-23 ACP guidelines.
Excellent. Thank you. And council, as you know, we debated this exact topic many times at JFAC. Councillor Kelly.
I just have a question about the 230,000. Some examples of that, would that be going towards the HR costs, or do we have that earmarked for things in the future?
We don't have to be that specific with the actual application,
Okay,
but we can use it, yes, for human resource requirements as part of the transition. We can use it for severance funding, for staffing.
Okay.
We can use it for staff training, a number of options, and I can almost assure you we will certainly use it.
awesome, thank you, CAO Basin. That's awesome.
Do you have a cheat sheet list of things that it actually can be used for?
I can actually, I can
Forward
forward that
that
to you.
council.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. This gives us another ability to talk to some of the funding.
Yeah, because this one, if I may, this one was on top of what we talked about in December, correct? This, yeah, this is, so this is,
Bonus money.
yeah,
In addition to the 950 for infrastructure.
Yeah.
This is over and above that. correct?
yeah, so we're 1.1? No, 1.2?
Point
1.2? Quick math,
Two,
1.2,
yes.
1.2. Yeah, it's great, okay, awesome,
So that's good.
yeah, awesome, thank you.
Excellent.
Sorry, I cut you off there.
No.
No, Councilor Gordon had a
Yeah,
question, I cut him off.
Do this one.
Yeah, I had a question that it just from left field, so forgive me. But when we were talking during amalgamation negotiations, there was some grants that could be requested to support our policing stream. And I believe one of them was called the Alberta Premier's Grant, something like that. Is that still available? And hey, you know, we're amalgamating on our own terms, own negotiation. Is there any way that we can add that potentially? Are we aware of that?
So if I might, through the chair, the policing grant is a completely separate issue well outside of this. And so we're just beginning the process of working with the RCMP to institute a new contract for the town of Diamond Valley, which we anticipate could take 12 months or more. So this is an ongoing process that we'll be working with the RCMP on. And that contract will be very involved because as we move over the 5,000 population threshold, that now changes our perspective on policing costs and our contributions to the policing service in the municipality. So as we go forward, I certainly keep council well acquainted with the process and where we are in it. So as you recall at AUMA, or Alberta Municipalities, pardon me, we've had a meeting with the commissioner and a number of other high-level RCMP officers, and we have started that process, and I've been in touch with Rick Janney, who was one of the members that day, and we are just about to initiate that process as we now can under the Town of Diamond Valley law.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Thanks for that update.
It's very good.
Good question.
Very good. Councilor.
Just to add to that, Sean, will we see that, we probably won't see that grant this year for policing costs on our requisition?
I don't believe so, but we may also not see the policing contract costs either. So there's two sidebars to it. With the additional grant also comes the additional expense. However, we may save a few dollars in that transition, but that's all really a work in progress at this point. We had anticipated in the summer of last year that would happen very quickly. But as we were told at that meeting that will not happen that quickly, and there's a lot of work to do on that. And it will also involve administration and facility costs involving the RCMP detachment within the town of Diamond Valley as well. So there's much to be covered yet.
Okay, excellent. That's a good update right there. Okay, we have a motion presented as read and seen. Any further questions? I love going for money. Let's just cross the fingers and get it all in favor. And that is carried.
Could I just have one comment there, Mayor Crane?
Absolutely, you can.
I was a bit skeptical, to say the least, when I read through that original report, and to see this actually starting to come to fruition since amalgamation is really, really good to see. When we spoke through JFAC very early on, through this process after, when we were meeting with Mr. McIver, there was a lot of speculation as to if these grants were going to be available to us after we actually amalgamated. I heard Councillor Gordon and Councillor Waring bring it up quite a bit. It was always an if at that point, and I just wanted to comment that it's really, really reassuring to see that the province is still allowing us to apply for these. I just wanted to make note of that because, yeah, it was definitely a question mark that was in the back of my mind the last year and a half.
So if I might add to Councillor Kelly's comments, I've been a little uncomfortable actually with municipal affairs actually making this application on our behalf because that has never happened before. And in fact, this is the very first time they're doing it. And this is part of their new red tape reduction program. So municipal affairs is actually taking the ball and running with this and dealing directly with Karen Arsenal at the grant program. And we just have to supply a motion and support. So
that's great. That's really great to
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the winners are the residents is the point I was bringing, right? 'Cause this is not a cost that's going to be carried down to the residents.
As a follow-up to that, if I may through the chair, Mr. Patience, can you record that somewhere? I've been asked on my LinkedIn page by some municipal affairs people within Alberta that we get to work with. What kind of record are we keeping regarding the amalgamation and all the different key points in the background? People have said, you guys have a model here because they're watching us, right?
Mhm.
I've had mayors reach out to me and say, how are you guys getting this done?
Yeah.
And so these types of things are quite important to keep history, historical record of. Even this work with them municipal affairs coming forward and saying, yeah, we're going to work with you to get this grant funding done. That's remarkable.
I will say, I wish that we'd have had the time and willpower to keep an exact log of all the work that we've done through this process. However, the JFAC minutes
Yes.
and subcommittee reports will really form a strong foundation of that.
Yeah.
But I will say, every day for the last 3 months, and every day for sure for the last month and a half, we are finding things we truly didn't expect to find. And we're having to deal with new issues all the time. And it's going on independently of myself and each of our departments. Ms. LeBlanc, Mr. Ross will attest to the fact that we continue to find new and wonderful things that we need to do that we had no idea we have to do. But we haven't really kept a log of it, and it's probably a little unfortunate. But I will say, we spoke at LGAA in Coolhurst back in October and explained the process we were undertaking. I think all we did was scare everybody away. And in fact, I will tell you, I had the CEO of Town of Bruce come up and say, well, I'm not doing that. So, anyway, it's a very daunting process. I ultimately believe that it will be highly beneficial for the municipality. But we don't have a direct log of everything that's been done. And I believe every community would have something different to deal with, right? Depending on the size of the community, whether there's one sort of absorbing and just taking over, which is typically the case. This one is, as we've always said, it's a unicorn. I mean, we've tried to collaborate through it, which has created numerous additional challenges over the normal amalgamation process, right? But we do have a bit of, we've got lots of files and lots of paper and lots of minutes and lots of stuff that would give very strong direction to another municipality if they ever wanted to embark on that journey. Yeah.
Not for the faint of heart.
Absolutely not.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are done 8.4. We're moving on to 9.1. We have committee minutes, which we have none. We have 9.2, councillor reports, which we have none. And we have 9.3, administrative inquiries and staff reports, also none, but I will take.
One motion going close or what?
Well, I was going to say, we'll do a little research. I just wanted to get to the lack of correspondence or any other information, 10.1 and 10.2 correspondence with decisions. There is none.
Still going.
So,
Don't forget that.
those motions, we also have none. How about a motion for 10 minutes break?
Actually, if I could ask a question before you break.
You got
So you're going to go into close when you come back, and there are callers on the line. So
Okay,
following the close, you have an organizational meeting. So do you want to set a time to reopen that? Or I don't know how you guys would feel about this, recessing this, doing your org meeting, and then
then on the camera.
reopening this and going into close.
Well, we have to close this meeting to open another.
Yes, we would.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. That would work.
So,
We should let our callers know. what
let's
time you
thank
wanna
our
restart.
callers for attending tonight's meeting, and they can see our organizational meeting tomorrow. It'll be in the minutes listed on the website. And the one motion we have coming out of in camera will be in reference to the planning quality management plan.
There may be other motions.
There's a few, yeah.
Yeah,
committees.
For sure that.
We'll have committee appointments coming out as
There you
well.
go. So there's lots. So they can check on the websites. We could do that. But we'll definitely be going into camera after this. The puck has spoken. We are now opening the organizational meeting for the town of Diamond Valley, January 11th, 2023, to officially make our council appointments. Ms. Staples, I have a list here of the appointments as I coordinated with the councilors. Did we want to put it up on the big screen and do a spreadsheet? Or would you like me to?
I can,
Yeah, we can definitely, yeah, probably pull that up.
sorry.
Well, yours.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor, you're gonna need to adopt your.
Yeah,
agenda.
yeah, yeah. That's,
I'll give you that motion to adopt the agenda for the organizational meeting as presented.
thank you. And I'm gonna take that and run with it. All in favor? Okay. I don't even have that one up here, Cindy, so if you could get yours up there. Okay, we gotta do it. Cool. Yeah, there you go. Okay, policies review. No policies presented here. Bylaws for review, we have none. Meeting schedule, council schedules, for regular meetings. Let's click on that, shall we? Okay, council regular meeting schedule. We're going with the second and third, or first and fourth. What do we do? What do you want? What do you want? Council, where are we at?
You want-
Oh, for our time, that's right.
First and third Wednesdays? Go ahead, Cindy.
First and third, I'm good with, but I do, the one that bothers me is their cow meeting being on a Tuesday, going to a Wednesday, so. Because otherwise, if you're volunteering weekly in the community group, now we've got 2 nights a week that you can't.
3 nights if you change the committee of the whole to Wednesdays.
It's 3 Wednesdays, it's a
But
consistent
I'm just saying,
Wednesday.
if you have like a weekly thing that happens, like weekly basketball
Wednesdays.
practice or whatever, then because you've got these cow meetings on Tuesdays, that fills up Tuesday nights.
Well, rules out other things for people that have.
Oh, Wednesday night you have
Curling.
curling.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Never mind.
Yeah.
It was
Staying out of
Rob
this
on the
one.
poker nights. I forgot about him in the curling.
Yeah, Rob on the poker race, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Councilor Gordon.
Maybe this is a Pandora's box, but we've seen tonight with 3 members or 3 residents visiting us. These chambers aren't well suited for having our residents joining us. So do we want to consider amending that resolution to the Turner Valley Council chambers? I'm just throwing it out there.
We asked to bring that back to the cow as well, because we gotta talk about technology. we gotta
Yeah.
talk about
Because we don't have
software.
that technology here.
It's all different.
Yeah.
We have the same stuff, only different.
Yeah.
And we'd like a chance to heard all of that information, because we talked about it twice and we needed to bring it back to you a third time anyway, because the information changed. So we'd like to take a look at it all again now that we know where we're at, and bring you all that information as well.
And will the next cow in February be beneficial, or do you want more time?
I think we should be able to. If not, we can let you know where we're at. But I guess, yeah, we're waiting on software reps who are
Yeah.
notoriously awful at getting back to us.
Yeah.
Heather?
And just so you know, like, this is soundproof, this wall when it's cold. So you don't have to kick out people when it's cold. But we also could talk about changing our closed session to 5 o'clock.
Beforehand. right?
Yeah,
Like that's what we did in Turner Valley.
It's
Yeah.
really good.
It's not like that.
Well, my only concern was people working
No, I can get here.
and Jonathan is good,
Yeah,
I didn't get there.
you it fine.
so.
so it's just a discussion for Cal.
So we
Well, I
want-
think we can set the 5 o'clock one now, but that's kind of an
No, that's a
agenda
procedure bylaw amendment. Yeah, that's your procedure.
already,
Yeah, it's got an agenda.
just like that, we're already looped.
It's only one more meeting.
The 5 o'clock does work well, unless you've only got one small item. And I just,
Yeah.
at that point, I'm just adding it to the agenda at the end, so I don't hold you for an hour and a half there for nothing.
Oh, yeah, and we've done
Just
that,
gauged on
we
the-
stick handle that every
gauged
time
on
we
the
have our.
topics that are in there, right, so.
Okay, so what I'm hearing for Salvo here is keep it as regular because everyone's adjusted their life, including their current schedules exactly to what we have been doing.
Thursday,
So
Tuesdays are out.
Go ahead. Is that anything?
I wonder,
Okay,
never mind, we'll talk about it at COW. I was just thinking that if you worded it, the open portion of the regular council meetings will be scheduled for Wednesday at 6:30. But we can discuss that, because that is,
Then you wouldn't have to amend maybe the other one, right?
Either way, we
you
can do
you
that.
could do it that way.
yeah, we just,
So then it leaves it open for,
For closed to start at any
I
time.
have
we
a-
can still do close.
yeah, that's what I mean,
Like
like,
that's
so
what
the
I was
open
getting at.
portion of the regular meetings at
So start
council
at 6.
will be scheduled for the first Wednesday and the third Wednesday of each month, beginning at 6:30. So the open portion is all you need to add to the motion, I think, Berta.
Good call,
And then
That gives us the.
that
option.
gives you the option of having a portion,
and we can get going right away.
Yes, that's right. That'll work.
It works,
Have the closed session before 6:30.
if we've got.
Yeah,
or,
well,
or
if we
after,
need-
it just gives you the
Either or.
flexibility.
Yeah.
That the open portion will be held at 6:30. Gives you the flexibility, you can go at 5 with your closed session, or it can be put at the end of the agenda.
Yeah,
It just gives you that flexibility.
I like your motion. You want to finish it off and further agree with? Further agree that said meetings will take place in Diamond Valley Council Chambers located in town office, 301 Center Ave, Diamond Valley, Alberta, unless otherwise advertised.
Yeah, sure. I didn't know I.
You just made it.
Okay,
You did.
great.
All right.
I was just suggesting.
I was just gonna ask if, and it doesn't, it makes no difference to me, but if people wanted to start at 6 instead of 6:30. Just throwing that out there.
How does it work for any bids but them?
Well, I have young, well, it works for either way,
Yeah.
My kids are in bed already, right? So it doesn't make a big difference to me. I just thought I'd ask while we're talking about it, 6 o'clock.
It
gets you
makes
out.
it hard because when you do have a hefty closed session, starting at 5, sometimes we go right up to that 6:30.
Yeah.
A lot of times when it is a hefty.
Okay.
things.
My only,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes, in respects to what Cindy just said, items can also be added to the end of the agenda as well. So if we did have a small item and we started at 5, we could still start a regular meeting at 6. And if we had a bigger closed item, we could put it in the end. I just thought I'd throw it out there. It makes no difference to me, but just a half an hour.
I'm
you might
liking
get home sooner.
6:30.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And I don't even work. Well.
You
I
will
do-
be.
Yeah,
Like you
we
said,
tried
Doug.
6 and it was always a fight. Everyone scrambling in
Together.
and then everyone was hangry.
Okay,
So,
cool.
yeah.
Okay, works
So,
for me.
Works good.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna go to 6:30. The motion's made with the opening at 6:30. Perfect. And we will be able to come efficient that way. All in favor? That one is done.
And I'll make a follow-up motion, only because we've done it prior. The possible information required for using the Turner Valley chambers as opposed to Black Diamond chambers be brought back to our CAL in February.
Okay. So cow discussion. February.
So, yeah, I think she was right.
second Tuesday. Second Tuesday.
Is there any way to change the second Tuesday to the
Yeah.
second Thursday?
Then anybody got Thursdays booked in?
Yeah, that's,
Isn't there a meeting?
that's IEDC.
Mine's there.
That's our economic
Second
development committee,
Thursday?
second Thursday.
I've sacrificed so much.
That's why we're meeting.
Well, I'm here
That's why I just kinda-
Yeah,
Thursdays we
saw a good day for our side.
Okay, hold on, I'm gonna check.
Thursdays are best.
Didn't, who said that?
It's staying.
We have other committee meetings mostly on Thursdays.
Yeah, I have,
You got lots.
yeah, there's quite a few committee meetings on Thursdays, I think.
Oh.
That's why you went with
understanding on
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays.
Tuesday's fine.
Is
It's
that
every second month.
Is that
So-
meeting date set in your terms of
Yeah.
reference for the bylaw?
Second
Yeah, I
Tuesday.
gotta-
It's
It's included in the terms of reference?
your.
Okay, so they have some time to think about that before
Yeah.
we bring the bylaw.
Yeah.
All right. All good, motion's good.
Yeah.
I didn't, I haven't used.
Questions?
No.
All in favor?
Sure.
Excellent. That's
Was that the Tuesday one?
What?
No, that's
Go back
regular
on
meeting.
chambers.
You guys
Oh.
You guys have some time to think about your town meeting because that terms of reference is coming to you next week,
Right.
so we can always amend it.
Yeah.
If you want, or you can let us know ahead of time or whatever.
So that was our, that was our Diamond Valley located town office, yada, 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 yada.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, so we.
Next
It
item.
would be daytime meeting.
so copy of the council meeting calendar.
And you only have one, excuse me,
Yes, go ahead, Hazel.
you only have one meeting in July and August, each of those months?
Yeah, preferably not,
That's
but
usually standard.
after the summer we just had, I don't wanna meet at all in July.
Well, my wife would say, absolutely, I'm gonna punch you in the face if you have a meeting this summer. She's so
You're right.
She is so done with me going off the meetings in the summer, like it's, I was like, Christine, we're amalgamating the community.
Yeah, that was the problem.
But,
We got a lighter schedule this summer than.
Yeah, we go with one meeting only, and then it's, you can zoom in from wherever you're at.
So you can cancel them as well.
Yeah, right now you've set both meetings for every month.
Yeah, we-
So if you wish, you can make the decision now or we can bring it back to you later to cancel.
I would suggest that you use the third Wednesday in July and the third Wednesday in August.
Yes,
Cancel
that's
that first
precisely
one.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, so people can book holidays and stuff, right?
I think it was
Okay,
good.
so this calendar up here, the legend is down low. I don't know if you can squeeze it a little bit more out of it there, the staples. Maybe just so we can read it. If not, you can pull it up on your iPad. There you go. Any overlaps? Looking good? Right?
Just for council's
AUMA.
information, AUMA, I've always added on there. In Edmonton again this year.
Okay,
Is that the end of September? Is that?
Yeah, September 27th to 29th.
Wednesday,
And,
Thursday,
and
Friday.
can I say this now?
Yeah, give her.
We are all planning on going, right?
In diamond suits. Vulcan might have little Star Trek suits. We're gonna have diamond suits. That's right, Brandon.
I might actually take time off. of
You
those,
should,
guys.
Brendan.
I know I should. It'd be a
Where
great
is
time.
mine?
I've been able to go.
Come with us.
It's guaranteed to be fun.
And we'll get to do.
But that's a budget question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to budget for it. So, but I agree. I think that it would be great if we all went this year.
All right.
We should, actually, on that note, we would like to book rooms.
Yeah,
right now.
absolutely.
So we can get close.
Nice and cheap.
If we can get the Marriott right next door, that's all.
Is that where we stayed last time?
Do you need a motion?
Yeah.
Need a motion or a recommendation?
Oh, we'll just do it.
No, we just do it.
Okay.
Yeah, we just do it.
Cool.
I think I'm in it.
So you guys were Wednesday.
There's no key to cancel
Or last time and then.
It's,
There's no key to cancel those rooms, so.
Yeah, there is.
I usually try and get
You
you
don't
in at
cancel,
Marriott.
but
Depends on
in
what
a certain
the
amount of time. So
I just book them, Verna, and
Not
then,
blocked.
yeah.
Okay.
And then when they block them, they add it.
How about we adopt this thing? Because there's no issues, correct?
Okay, so what you really want to do then is cancel the
The first.
July
and-
5th and August 2nd?
Yes.
Is that correct?
It's not even on this.
But it's not on there.
But however.
We
based
haven't
on our
accepted
first
that.
motion,
That's true.
They just made a motion to do first and third.
That's what,
So are we gonna make a motion to that effect?
it's there, she has
Here.
July 5th and August 2nd.
Okay, here goes Veronica.
Veronica's got it.
Council agrees to cancel the following regular meetings of council, July 5th and August 2nd.
We'll get something meeting.
Second.
The first meetings and both those meetings.
All good, Vernon?
Yeah.
Okay, everything else is good. All in favor? That is carried. All righty. Selection of the swearing in of deputy mayor. I would suggest that Mr. Kelly, Councillor Brendan Kelly, be deputy mayor.
Thank you.
Anybody want to take him on?
I would
I
support that.
just have a question, because we never did this in Turner Valley. Never scored a deputy mayor in, ever, because they had 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months always, like it wasn't a full year. So we always did it just as a motion, resolution,
Yeah, that's all we
ever did.
Well, and then when I started, the last election, we did for 1 year.
Yes.
How long are we doing this one?
Well, and that was my next.
But it was a
phase
resolution,
I
so
would like to do 1 year terms for deputy mayor, so that's up for debate. So,
And it was just a resolution appointing a specific individual for this length of time.
yeah,
and we do it at our
We didn't do
meeting.
it all.
Motion, you're in
No.
place, that's good.
no,
So-
no swearing, a resolution.
Just by resolution.
But, I don't know, like it's a discussion.
And a new council.
It was a question actually.
And
because-
that's. we're
So
new
if
council
they,
now,
if they end up actually stepping in for more than a meeting chair, then they need to take an oath as the interim mayor.
Yeah, they would have to do that as the interim mayor.
But you don't need a resolution for that. I think that's why we've always done it. 6 of 1, half dozen of the other.
I'm not sure why you got it. I think they have.
Why you swear them in?
Made them do notes to the office. of
Yeah, it
deputy
was
mayor.
just a question. It's just that in Turner Valley, that it was never done that way.
The only reason is if they have to step in, they've taken their oath of office to do
Yes.
so.
But if they have to step in, they can take the oath of office at that time. So
think
it's
what
just a question.
We still have it in our procedures bylaw that whoever was during that appointment, that they have the authority to assume the duties of the mayor in his absence. And that his or her absence
That's,
is how we
I
got
believe
around that.
that's, yeah.
Veronica, and then I have.
I think it's a nice touch to swear in as deputy mayor. And it makes a so much funny job, just that much more special. And I would like to keep it as a swearing in oath ceremony.
I was just
at the
asking the
organization
question. You can do it.
She
however
wants
you
me to
want
sit next to her and she just throws me right into the box
I-
as soon as I get an opportunity to stand up.
Let's shed a little.
You want to be affirmed.
Affirmed.
I think you
Verna already asked me, actually.
There you go. So I think we can settle on the tradition. How's that?
Hey, there you go.
Deputy
So
mayors have to be sworn
let's
in.
go there.
Right? So I would make a motion that we appoint Councillor Brendan Kelly to the position of deputy mayor for a 1 year term,
Let's do the next order meeting.
which is based on 2023 to October.
Short lived.
Oh, so the next org meeting.
Yeah, it'll be October again.
And we could insert the date of the next org meeting,
Oh, probably
start
on
and
this
finish,
date.
yeah.
Well, we don't know that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
on
we
my
do.
calendar.
We got it on
You do.
calendar now.
Yeah.
So let's add the date.
Third Wednesday.
Yeah,
Second
let's
meeting in
add the date.
October.
Right there's October
18th.
18th.
There you go. To October 18th, 2023.
And then there should be some sort of like dueling match to the person.
Yeah, that'll part of the tradition
Why
as
don't
well.
we say who doesn't want to do it?
And
and
maybe he
then-
doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, and then let.
I gladly accept. Yes. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We finish
Other
each
than
other's.
Lasagna?
We failed on that one. Okay, now, does anyone have this oath that we can have Brendan do?
He's affirming.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Come down there,
I want you to stay, I want you front and center,
in a view or
down here, yeah, in front of the
Down.
council. We want a witness.
Okay.
We want a witness.
who's gonna be gonna read it to me? Okay. Do I need to put my hand in front?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Right. Okay. I, Brendan Kelly, solemnly affirm that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability, execute according to the law, the office of deputy mayor for the town of Diamond Valley.
Part of the history.
Get
Okay.
Heather in there too.
Oh, yeah, you gotta
I
get-
can see
Yeah,
that.
there you go, there you go. That's it.
Oh, we're gonna do this?
No, I'm just signing for Heather. 'cause I'm-
Oh,
okay, look at
That's a
it.
nice
Yeah, you
photo.
Yeah.
The rest of the door.
Get her good side now.
I am. There we go, that's a beautiful spot.
See, that's
Beautiful.
perfect.
Oh, that's good.
Send that one around the.
John?
Roll.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Thank you, Brendan.
It's irritating.
Thank you, Sean.
It's irritating, you know.
He's not cutting his toenails in front of you.
Oh my
Thanks,
God.
everybody. Thanks, Barry.
Subscribe.
Hey, right on.
That-
That's good. I like that.
Yeah,
Okay,
why not?
all right, thanks, guys.
I didn't know you didn't like it that much, Veronica.
Oh, I'm
Jeez.
kidding.
Are we now on to committees?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Banking resolutions?
Oh,
Okay,
thank you.
here we go. Me and Brendan, and I'd like to have one extra
What are we talking about, sir?
for signing authorities.
Okay.
And
Well, somebody lives closest to where the signing happens, that's available at a regular time.
the scowl on Miss Cloyver's face makes me believe.
Hazel, she has her hand up.
Oh,
Okay.
my son's on too. 'Cause I
Hazel's
don't block
on.
away, but he's looking down.
So, let me do this one. Proposed resolution. The council agrees that an account and or account to be continued with ATB Financial and or Royal Bank in the name of the town of Diamond Valley. So you want all these individual?
It's not Royal Bank, is it?
RBC.
I believe they're swapping one over.
If
This
they-
allows them to open them there or continue them. I'm not sure where they've ended up with the rail.
Doesn't hurt to have it anyway. We'll still have stuff going to the.
Yeah, you're gonna be,
We
you're
both
gonna be
have-
splicing stuff for next
we
year.
both have accounts at the Royal Banks.
The plan is,
As far as I know, they're going to keep at least one of them.
right. Okay, so then as read is good. Okay, so I make the motion that an account and or account be continued with ATB Financial and or the Royal Bank in the name of the town of Diamond Valley. Period. All in favor?
Actually, we need this to be all one resolution.
Okay, so that's why I saw the bullets and I was like, okay, we'll do it. Okay, and to authorize that all financial agreements, checks, and negotiable instruments must be signed by administration as appointed by council. And that 3 members of council, that being Deputy.
That's the next one.
Oh, okay. That 3 members of council be authorized to sign such agreements, checks, and negotiable instruments, who shall be appointed by resolution to sign until the annual organization meeting of council, at which time these signing authorities will be reviewed, and that the signatures are authorized for and on behalf of the town to draw, accept, sign, exchange promissory notes, checks, and orders for the payment of money to transact with authorized financial institutions, any business that they may think fit, and to sign financial institutions form of settlement and release. And stop.
And stop.
Any questions on that very long motion?
No.
All in favor? And that is carried. Cindy, you're up.
The council agrees to authorize Barry Crane and the county and Hazel Martin as the council signs of the signing authorities for the town of Doug.
All in favor? Councilor Thompson.
The council agreed that the administrative banking authorities in place being CAO Sean Patience, corporate services and finance manager Corey Middleton, and finance supervisor Shirley Campbell remain as the administrative signing authorities.
Excellent. Any other names you need on there, Sean? Now's your time.
Those are your designated officers, so that's why they're getting the signing authorities.
Perfect. Any questions? All in favor? All righty, and that one is done. Now can we do council appointments?
Now you can do council.
Okay, I'm so excited.
Clearly.
All right. This is where the great debate happens. And we have till 11 o'clock.
More scroll.
No, I bet you know, it's safe to get to.
I've been trying to watch the same show for 5 nights, and I'm still not halfway through the movie. I'm asleep by the time
Well,
I
one-
get to where I thought I was.
What do you like?
Cutthroat Island.
Oh, the, new-
The
yeah.
old school pirate ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna list them out under each one, and then we're gonna play ball. So under Crane, you're gonna put West End. You're gonna put Schrock. You're gonna put CAO review. Emergency. And so I guess we should say emergency advisory. Right, because there's another one which is rest, so just so we know which one it is. And then intermunicipal. We're gonna have some talk about that because there's some duplication there. Under Gordon, and I've got everybody overlap, that's where the debate comes in. So Gordon's gonna go intermunicipal or economic development, sorry. Rest.
Emergency services for us?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And NPC. And then holiday. NPC. West End. Trump. Kelly. West Winds. NPC. Parks and Rec. And he has to be on the emergency advisory as well as deputy mayor in my absence. That one only meets once a year, so it's not going to be. Employment. Sustainability. Economic development. CAO review. Martin.
Love those eggs.
Library. Diamond Valley Community Support Services now, right? Diamond Valley Community. And then here you go, the JHWSC, the Joint Health Work Safety. Which, well, it's,
Why?
we
Is it a
appointed,
committee of council?
we appointed her in Turner Valley to sit on the joint work.
Is that, it's joint, is that still going?
Well,
You don't need anybody on that.
so there's a
No,
debate to be had.
Joint
right?
workplace means it's an employees.
Yeah,
It's
it's not,
I think our
that's,
thing
council should be on that.
our thing has a council, yeah.
Yeah, no. She thought it was joint between that and.
Oh,
I don't know. But
So
no,
we'll
the
talk about,
safety
so we'll
committee
talk
period
about this
should
one.
No,
It's not a committee of council. It should not be a council member on.
Okay, so we'll talk about that one. Thompson, up top. Put her on that JHWSC too. I'm just kidding.
It's already struck out.
Okay, here you go.
Funny girl, that's.
Schrock.
Yeah, this was,
Now, I got you a little heavy, Heather, but you just let me know. Foothills, what?
sorry, I'm just removing this straight through. It was existing formatting.
Oh, there you go. I was just joking about the first one, but anyway, Foothills Landfill Commission. Okay, good. So,
SCSF.
okay, it's okay, we'll get there. Cemetery. And West End. Put FRSC under Hazel. Well, I mean, we're gonna do some juggling here, depending on how people are feeling. And then we have the alternates, we're gonna stick after, we're gonna nail down all our primaries first, and then we'll start picking up alternates after. Okay, okay, so, first off, just scroll back up on Heather, eliminate JH, that one. Get rid of that. Okay, so now, I think for FCSS, we can only have one. It's like Highlander, a lot of these, okay, but we're not going to determine in the same way Highlander did. You know who Highlander is, Cindy?
No.
Cindy, for homework for you, I want you to go and watch the original Highlander movie. Okay, there can be only one. It's a great movie, you'll love it. All right, so now up for debate before I put these in, because is there a valid reason for us as counselors to sit on these two? I flagged them with Veronica. The Bow River Basin Council and the Highwood Management Plan Public Advisory Committee.
So Ted Bain and John Waring have been on those prior, and Ted did testify that it was valuable. Committee to be on both of those.
They did. But it's never done any.
No.
No,
I sat on, back in the day, the Foothills Regional River Collaboration Framework, intermunicipal, blah, blah, blah. Basically, they talked about water, and engineers tried to justify why we should give them that.
So my husband's a base water engineer. He doesn't sit on that.
So,
It does not.
so that's what I want, like,
I mean, it's fine to support them and
Mhm.
you can go to these meetings. You don't have to be paying per diems for,
Yeah.
if you want to go and get the information, go.
I guess that's where I'm at. I don't see why we would pay to go to these particular ones. We can ask for minutes, and if it becomes something relevant, if there's someone who, like Ted and John, who
Yeah.
really were passionate about attending them. Oh, I see Bernice hand. Go ahead, Bert.
I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, that's fine.
So in the past, before Councillor Bain and Councillor Lalonde sat on that committee, we simply paid our dues and requested all the information. We got a big, huge, massive weekly email. So I'd be more than happy to continue and forward out if you don't wish to attend.
Yeah, that's what Turner Valley used to do as well.
How
No,
much is the money?
no, I'm just wondering, is there somebody in the administration side that should be watching those emails rather than some of us counselors all reading it? Not, if it's not relevant to anything. I'm just wondering. It's good to have somebody,
We get them.
you get them, but is there somebody specifically assigned to be like watching them for something important? Because if nobody's assigned, nobody does it.
I review them, but there's nothing.
Like if there was grants coming through some of these things, Brendan?
Wouldn't it just be something that we could just ask to have as information? Like when we have the section 10, right?
General
If you get,
correspondence,
if
like
you get,
general
yeah,
correspondence.
yeah, you get an email, you just say, hey, put it on the agenda.
You know what?
And
That's a
then-
great idea. Put it under correspondence, on our
And then
agendas.
you've received it.
It's a very large package and it's full of hyperlinks.
Oh, no.
I always have.
Well, even to put it on there as a saying, we got it. You could refer to it.
Well, it's more just having somebody on staff that says if something comes up that we should know about.
To make sure they go to, probably Craig and areas, operations and utilities.
It would be a good one to CC to Craig, but it's easy to go through because it is all hyperlinks. So if something catches your eye, you want to look into, you click on it.
Okay, so how about this? Let's remove them and let's take them to council in one separate email just to council. We'll give it a try, just reading it and seeing if we're interested in it. And if we don't after this first year, we can say, you know what? You can let that one slide. So let's take it in, let's have a read on it. But we don't need to send anyone to Cochrane to sit in these meetings for, $300 a month. Okay, my thought. Okay, so we're gonna eliminate but we will
How often
receive
do they meet?
once a month.
I'm not sure. actually.
Yeah,
I believe it is.
I didn't
John,
know.
where did
And
you
there's
get that?
subcommittees.
Didn't hear anything.
But
The
technically.
ARBC, Board
I'm
of
pretty
Review,
confident 10 weeks
Council,
every
and
Oh,
the
no, I'm sure he did.
Highwood Management, which I'm not sure.
Yeah, but we never got, like,
Yeah,
he
they've
never
got-
said, wow,
they've
you
got
know.
several
can we stop
supplements
here?
So, yeah.
yeah. So, okay,
Yes.
so to be clear, we're going to eliminate Low River Basin Council Committee Rep and alternate. And the Highwood Management Plan Public Advisory Committee. I guess I'll ask for clarity on that one. I'm assuming it's High River,
It's the highway, it's,
right?
it's part of, if you remember when back in
Highway
2017,
watershed.
when they're just looking to log on the highway, they were part of that.
We're not in that river basin, right?
No,
So.
but there isn't,
So we can get that information again. And Craig Snodgrass will be more than happy to give us emails and letters looking for support when the time's up. So eliminate the Highwood Management Plan Public Advisory Committee from our schedule as well. I need some head nods on that one. So I can
you
make
just lost court ones.
Oh. We can get that. Well, again, I've never heard anything about it. I haven't heard, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. We hear about it. So
We supported their grant application.
exactly.
All that was.
When there's something happening, they'll let us know. So. Start Sheep River one.
Sheep River Management Plan,
There you go. Highwood Management Plan, Public Advisory. It's all members of the public.
Yeah.
That's just advisory.
Yep.
Okay, good. That one's out.
Yep.
Okay, that's gone. All right. So in here, up there, we have,
You're looking for overlap?
so I
I'll
need
change it.
2 members for the intermunicipal committee, and the intermunicipal and the joint use planning agreement. Going forward with the MD, so I believe that is actually,
No,
Gonna
joint use and
condense.
planning agreement is with Foothills School Division, not Foothills County.
And
Yes,
it's-
yeah. Oh, there's an ICF.
Okay.
the ICF is the
That's
intermunicipal.
the-
Collaborative.
Very-
But we don't need
on
number to show on that one, do you?
planning with
ICF?
Foothills.
The IMC is
Question
gonna handle
why
the
council
ICF.
was in there, Because there's no council.
Say that right.
The
Yeah.
IMC.
Should have council-
Thank you.
It's just.
should have
the-
council members on there. It's really,
On the IMC?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that committee will handle it. It is council representation.
All right. So here's what we need.
How many do you
Yep.
need?
So IMC is handling the
Okay.
ICF. Okay,
Because I'm on the ICF. And you want to be on the ICF? And you want to be on the ICF?
No, give it to Steve.
Well, we
That's
still have,
IMC, intermunicipal.
but we still have to juggle, the
IMC.
NPC overlaps, right? Because we've got 5 people. Okay,
There's only 3
No,
lists.
ICF.
We
Oh,
did.
Hazel should have been on there for NCC as well. Yeah, I got myself and Hazel.
For what it's worth, you're gonna need someone from Black Mountain on the MPC. I'm the only one over there, so.
Oh, no, you have to be on there.
Default.
100%. Yeah, I had, so what I did is I put them down low. Okay, so, Sydney's on there, okay. I need someone for Foothills Landfill Commission.
Is someone on there already?
Oh, do I have Hazel on there?
No, I'm on cemetery. Am I not on cemetery?
No.
No, hey,
I want to trade you cemetery for
Heather's got cemetery.
FCSS.
cemetery needs 2. Please tell me which, they don't.
No, they
She's
just
got
one
one
and an
FCSS.
alternate.
No, she wants to trade for the cemetery.
That's cemetery.
He's got both.
Let's see,
It's a waste of.
One right above the other.
is there 2 or 1 required?
Well,
You're the chair, so.
they need to change their
But
bylaw
they need to
because
change the
it was 2 because it was 1 from Turner Valley, 1 from Black
It
Mountain.
should only be 1.
So it'll only be
Yeah.
1.
But
Okay.
they're, but we're supposed to.
Which one you,
Cemetery.
oh,
So I have an offer for cemetery to Hazel to give over Foothills FCSS.
That's okay.
Okay, eliminate Hazel from FCSS and takes over cemetery. Yep, delete
Are you making 2 appointments or 1?
one.
I
We're
think it's-
sticking with it. We're going 1. They can fight us on it.
You can ask for another one, we'll bring it back to council for another appointment.
Okay,
So
and
how
then
many do
just
you need for landfill?
1.
And you've got that.
Eliminate Hazel from FCSS.
No, Hazel's not.
There you go.
I thought Hazel has the one, though.
Okay,
Yeah, I got Hazel on landfill and library. And let's get this joint health safety thing out of the way. So Hazel, justify the joint work, whatever the hell is called.
no.
Health and Safety Committee. I was appointed last year as a council rep. I can't go into the story at this time, but it is a good committee to have a council representative on there, in case there is any personnel or personal grievances coming forward that are not coming forward to management.
So just here in the ground.
Yep.
And so how is this determined that I don't have the background story? I mean,
We,
Why was it requested?
it was a great.
Absolutely not. No council member should be on that committee.
Well, I gotta,
Do you remember the background story as to why we were asked to make that appointment?
Sean just brought it and said
We
that
use
they
council.
had asked for a counselor and
Yeah.
management.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah, but
If I can,
speak up.
the,
that's out of our realm.
the Occupational Health and Safety Act, right, because it's an act now. When I did my course on it, every organization has to have a committee. And we are employees and we represent council. And as council and employees, everyone should have a member, right down to the janitor on those committees. So
I disagree.
that's where, no, that's written.
No, I disagree because if you look at the regulations for this committee or the rules for this committee.
Yeah.
This is staff. And so to have, we have 1 staff member.
Yeah.
There should be no grievances or anything going to a council member about anything like
Well,
that.
it did
I
come
agree
to
to that.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have.
It was right in an open forum.
It shouldn't have. Council
Well,
members
it
shouldn't be dealing with that.
Vernon.
So I believe that committee is actually still being set up for the new town.
Mhm.
How about if we bring this back?
Yeah.
With some information
Yeah.
later, and we don't make an appointment right now, we can always add the appointment later if it is required.
It was actually a request of the committee
Yes.
to have a council member.
And so if we could have some clarity on that
Mhm.
from the committee
It's a new committee. that
as
isn't being set up.
information, and if their motion is still that they want one, then we can look at it through that lens.
If you guys are
Does
okay
that
with that.
sound compromising?
Yeah, but I still will say no.
Okay.
I'm just uncomfortable with it. I don't even, I'm just uncomfortable with the idea of the counselor being
We as council
burdened
members.
with information like that. That's not,
We as council members must support our health and safety committee financially. And we must follow the same rules for our health and safety. Slips and incidents and all that kind of stuff, but as far as being on this committee, it's staff, and none of that stuff should be coming to a council member.
All right,
That's
so-
just my opinion, and if we'll just let Verna and if we ever get more information, because the committee hasn't formed yet, but that's,
let's have the committee justify why they want a counselor. And then if there's a different forum where that might fall, then that's fine. But either way, let's have the committee meet and then they can make that request again and justify. And if it's deemed appropriate, then maybe. If not, it's council decision, we'll debate it at that time.
yeah, and
Okay.
Yeah.
I
That one's out.
agree.
Okay. So we've got 2 on economic development, just to be clear, I'm just gonna go right down the thing. We've got FCSS and the backup alternate will be Hazel. So the alternate will be Hazel
Or SESS.
for FCSS, and then I can just cross this right off. Heather T. Okay. Economic development, we've got Veronica and Jonathan. Correct? Good, good. Okay. Yeah, no, none. Emergency advisory is mayor and deputy mayor. And I believe we listed, I think, Hazel, did you want on that?
As
I
well.
I said I would go on it if nobody else wanted to.
Yeah, I've got you
Because
both.
that's like once a year.
Yeah, it's once a year. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, you and you. Now that means this, 1, 2, and then throw. Are we clear on the rules here?
I'll see how the rest of the committee appointments balance out first before you worry about that.
Because that's just an alternate.
That's good.
Or is that
Okay.
not?
No, you need three.
You need 3?
We need 3.
Okay, circle.
I've been on it the last, what, 5 years too?
Yes, you have. And I'm surprised you didn't put it
Well,
down.
I was, you said 3, so I just stuck with 3.
Okay,
But I wouldn't mind being on that.
yeah.
The emergency advisory committee.
You go for it, Hazel. It's no big deal to me. I just put a question mark.
Sure, I can do that.
I can be the alternate if they need an alternate, but I don't think they do.
No, there is none.
So
The
just
deputy
schedule a
mayor,
meeting for whenever we can make it.
The
yeah,
deputy
and
mayor.
a quorum is
I do
2.
need one?
A
I can
quorum,
do-
a quorum is 2.
I
The
didn't think
the
so.
mayor is given, and then 2 appointees. So the deputy mayor is automatically the alternate, but that's been appointed there. So actually, if you're going to appoint the deputy mayor, then there should be another counselor.
Okay, so why don't you give it to Jonathan and then make me the alternate? Or do you want me in on it, Barry?
We have to be.
At least.
I'm
Well,
automatically the alternate
Oh, I see.
Hazel
Okay,
said
so,
she'd
okay,
be the
yeah,
alternate.
let's go Hazel and Jonathan.
because Jonathan's been on it. I
Well,
don't mind
and
seeing-
Jonathan is up to speed on a lot of the IC,
And
all the good stuff. Exactly.
emergencies.
You want that, John?
Yep, no, that's good.
Thanks, man.
Cemetery, we've got Heather, an alternate. Cindy, do you want to be the back
I'll be the
alternate?
backup for-
Okay. Cindy's going to be the backup alternate.
For what?
Uh,
for cemetery.
for cemetery.
Just wait, she's, Roberta needs to catch up.
Hazel's the appointed cemetery person.
Is also willing to be chair?
Oh,
We swapped FCS.
yes,
and
yes, right on.
cemetery.
There you go. Okay. Done.
It's Zoom meetings.
Jonathan needs a backup for Regional Emergency Services Commission. Who would like to do that one? Please,
What?
want to do that? That's Foothills Press. Okay. No, he's got it. She's gonna go with this. Yeah. So Veronica's Press, yeah, good. Foothills Regional Landfill Commission. Now, Cindy, correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't even want an alternate anymore. They just wanted one for 4 years.
That what they said?
That was what they always wanted, yeah, But-
We always had.
because it's commission. Well, it's listed, we'll put it in. So who's gonna be our new Foothills Regional Landfill?
Alternate?
No. Foothills Regional,
That's Hazel.
I think it is Hazel right there.
Yeah.
That should be Landfill Commission. Yeah.
Regional Students Commission.
Yeah,
Is
okay.
I'll make this clean and tidy and fill in the acronyms.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, it is. Okay, so Hazel is our main rep there, is that correct?
A
Okay.
landfill and cemetery.
And our alternate
I'll do alternate.
is gonna be Heather.
It's right down there.
That one's gone. Okay, so
It's
intermunicipal
just
committee,
Priscilla. It did that to me when I was trying to fill it out too.
intermunicipal committee has 2 members, myself, which is ICF, we're calling it the ICF committee, right?
It's INC Intermunicipal Committee. Their
Okay.
job is to do the ICF.
Exactly. So that's myself and who did we list? Cindy? 2 alternates,
Two.
2.
Their quorum is 100% attendance.
I'll be-
So
No
we're gonna
trusting.
take Jonathan,
Yeah, I'll be,
that's a daytime meeting as
Yeah,
well.
I'll make.
You want that in, Brandon?
Is it Zoom?
It's a daytime.
Is it Zoom? No.
I see it.
All right, Heather. Thompson.
I can
As
do-
an alternate.
I can do
As an
Zoom these days. Like I can do
Yeah,
Zoom.
we'll find something else.
No, that's all right.
It was virtual.
And some of them are still hybrid.
Okay, that one's done. So the joint use planning agreement, which
Yeah.
is,
That was just me.
yeah,
Sean, do you, is that done?
So-
Foothill School Division?
Foothill School Division, I actually want to go and nail them sometimes, so I will take that one.
Do you need a council representative?
Well, council ultimately will have to approve the agreement. Do we need one?
You guys were just babbling, and I was just taking notes. And I thought, wow, there's a waste of $50 for the taxpayers, because it's
Yeah.
gonna come to us.
Is that the meeting at the arena that we had? Is that
Yeah.
the one you're referencing? So
And
that's the last time we've touched it, to be honest with you.
Questions
So
every.
they sent a bunch of emails around, some templates from other.
We
Well, I
meet
wasn't
them once a
included on
year and we usually go as a council.
Yeah.
That's the deal.
I would say no.
Eliminated?
Yeah,
I don't think you need a rep on that. I mean, we did all that work for the agreement.
agreements for, you know, Ena versus.
I've just done election agreements with the school.
Jim.
Les and Rod were working on that.
Yeah, so it's all stacked though.
We've always appointed
Yeah.
someone, but they've always said the same thing.
I think it should be
Yeah,
just that.
Okay, let's scrub it and then when it comes to us, then we'll ask our questions.
Yeah.
And we can always ask our questions in our annual meet anyway.
We gotta ask questions anyway. whether
Yeah.
you're council.
Okay, let's scrap it.
Yeah.
So
Done.
which one is that?
Joint use planning agreement. Yeah, because they rarely ask us what we actually think anyway.
They didn't want to hear from
No.
No shot.
Okay, MPC, so I have a point of clarity that I need to ask, because I want to sit on MPC, Jonathan wants to sit on MPC, Cindy wants MPC, Brendan wants MPC.
Brendan's not on PC,
Okay,
actually.
I
That's
was
right,
about it. I
Brendan,
wanna
Brendan
be
is
on
on
it. I wanna
MPC
be
and
on
so is
MPC
Veronica.
now.
Too late.
Hazel, you're full.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take Hazel out of the
I
equation,
have full committees.
for
Or
Take away
I
the
don't
PC, yeah.
see it.
oh, plus cemetery, yeah, five.
For now.
I have library, yeah.
EAC, she's just an alternate. or-
No, EAC, but that's once a year.
Yeah, it's once a year.
that one's once a month from now.
Library and the-
Okay, so here's what I want to ask. So Brendan is automatic and so is Cindy. If Jonathan goes on, I want to attend. As mayor, can I attend a municipal planning?
It's a public meeting. As long as it remains a public meeting, you're welcome to attend. There are no more ex officio duties in the MGA that is permitted.
I got a fight. Who wants to fight, John? Paper, scissors, buddy.
That gives me like 2 committees away,
I know.
because EAC is 1 meeting a year.
Yeah.
Gotta let it go.
Yeah. EAC is there, and that's almost non-existent. Okay. Yeah, okay, we'll let it go.
Thank you, good job.
Coming us with your variances.
Do you need an
Another one
alternate?
Okay, that was a good burn, Cindy.
Do you need
Hey,
an
look it.
alternate?
I'm the alternate.
And do you guys want the MPC to be a full term, electoral term of government?
Yes, you don't have to spend.
No, it's gonna be, it's gonna be,
Oh,
we should.
Jonathan, you're on there as well.
But if I get newly acquainted with it all,
We've got
it's
Jonathan,
what, it's
Cindy.
what
No,
it
my
takes.
husband wants to go.
Okay, so that one's done. Parks and Rec, I've got Mr. Kelly and I need an alternate.
I will.
Hazel's gonna go alternate for, so
We could probably look at it being 2 now that.
I actually wouldn't mind 2 on there.
It wouldn't hurt, because I don't know what necessarily is going on over in Turner Valley.
And you gotta arm
I
some
I
Hazel.
think instead of having an alternate, we should have 2.
How about we go 2 with 1 alternate?
just to keep them
right?
advised.
And then you can have alternates.
Yeah, that's
But I think two is good, one
I
from
think-
both sides, so that both
Yeah.
ends are represented.
Yes.
And, because it's the first year, so you need to have all perspectives.
And it's an advisory committee, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And our other advisory committee,
So,
EDC, we have
for,
two.
to be clear,
So
we're
why
gonna
don't we
appoint
do that?
two Parks and Rec, Brendan, Hazel, and Heather is gonna be alternate. Yeah, Mac and Hazel is gonna be, or sorry, Heather is gonna be alternate for Pratt. Okay, so just gonna change that, okay? Okay, library is Hazel. And no alternate required. Sheep River Regional Utility Corp.
You're on that.
I know no one wants them. I think I've got two, me and Heather and Cindy, so that's three. And everybody else is in the clear,
Is Heather on there? I didn't see
right?
her.
Truck.
What, Chuck, yeah,
That's the intent.
Yeah.
Chuck
So-
West End, FCSS, alternate for Parks and Rec. And alternate for
Get ahead.
I
And
and
Pratt.
whatever it
Okay.
is.
So
Library.
libraries, they're done. Truck is done. Sustainability is Veronica. Good. No alternate, it's not determined yet, and still work with the school instructor. All right. Okay, so one is good. West End, I've got myself, Cindy, and Heather. And that's daytime meetings as well.
You need an alternate as well.
And that requires three with one alternate. You should probably be an alternate. Yeah, you won't have enough alternates. Veronica for alternate.
I can take Durango alternate, just, have you been on it all? Because I've been on for 5 years, so as an alternate, it's quite easier for me.
Oh, for sure.
What, did I take on too?
Yeah.
As an alternate.
As an alternate,
Doesn't-
yeah, it makes more sense probably for me. 'cause
Scare me. It doesn't matter. Alternate, I can be alternate, I mean,
But it's easy for me to jump back.
okay, well.
Yeah, do Cindy. Cindy's week on that one. Heather's three. Trying to get it even. Okay, sustainability is done. West End is done. And West Wind, I've got Brendan as the main, and he sat on it for a year, and that's a 4-year, that's a full term appointment as well. And Hazel's gonna be the alternate for West Wind, so she's been my alternate for the last year, so. Okay, CAO Review Committee, which wasn't listed. It's gonna be myself and Veronica
You need three.
and Jonathan.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
And Jonathan.
And if you, yeah,
So
and I can
see,
say it too. if it's monitoring.
Yeah,
Do you need an alternate or do you want four?
I don't know.
well, hold on, let's see, Brendan's got three.
West-
Oh, no,
We can
we got,
schedule them whenever they want, right? So it's not like they're-
I don't think, yeah, no.
You probably don't need it.
We only had three.
If it makes you feel.
yeah, Veronica and Brendan need.
What do you care about?
So
Put Brendan on.
Brendan over to CAO Review from Jonathan.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's, I think it's important. First year is gonna be very important that we have blended representation over.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well thought, yeah.
Okay, so that takes that, and Jonathan is gonna be the alternate on CAO Review. Because we do have listed on one. All right,
You got three.
that's all I have
Okay.
listed.
I've got a question about them.
Yeah, now we're gonna go to questions.
Yeah, not about this. I just don't want to, well, maybe we will let it go, but we have the downtown ARP.
Yes.
And I don't want to really lose sight of that study because we invested so much into that. I don't know what we would do if we create a little subcommittee that looks at the report. I'm not sure, but I don't know if we want to act on that as council or if we want to expand it into Turner Valley or into the other
Yeah.
side. It's just something I wanted to bring up because I don't want, I don't want to just become something that sits on the bookshelf after we invest a lot of time and energy into it.
Yeah. Heather?
Yeah, I think that could potentially be a subcommittee of EDC.
Yeah, yeah, or would it transfer over to EDC
And then they pick it up.
and then they pick it up and say this ties into our
At
strategic
least
plan
they
here,
could keep
here,
an
here.
eye on it, an eye on the ball, because that's all it needs at this point, because it's just a report, it's a working document, things might change and.
Well, it's
And when the
information.
land use bylaws reviewed, that's really when it becomes imperative to know what's going on with that, right?
Did it get passed?
Well,
Accepted as
Yeah.
information.
Yeah,
It got accepted as information, not passed as a bylaw.
I don't think we.
no, not as a bylaw.
Berta's got the answer.
It is passed as a bylaw,
Oh,
and at that
right.
moment, the committee was done its work. And that bylaw is a sunset clause, so it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So it is bylaw, it is in place, it remains in place. So if you
But the
want to,
committee's
It's
gone.
100% by the it's a bylaw.
100%,
So,
at least.
So just something to consider.
yeah, so
But
we-
it-
Because you guys don't,
yeah,
like,
we're not.
we've been working through that
Yeah.
for a while.
Okay.
So I don't know, like in terms of being a bylaw, it would just affect future development, like if buildings were torn down, how it would look for a rebuild, those kinds of things were in it.
It's higher in the hierarchy from a land use
The land
bylaw.
use,
So if
yes.
somebody comes, they're gonna have to look at all of those.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So,
So that's something that's gonna come back in front of council
NPC
in a various form and MPC as well.
okay, just something I thought I'd throw out.
Active would be
Yeah,
looking at that.
I think that's one of those
Yeah,
things
planning will
that's
be-
on our big list of, Turner Valley needs to get up to speed on. Lycoming needs to get up to speed on, right? So,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, if it's an ARP, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it'll fall under planning.
So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It'll
so-
fall into the hierarchy.
so it's not forgotten.
plan.
Okay,
It's not locked in.
okay, good enough. Okay, okay, thank you. for
Okay.
clarifying.
Let's go to our main committees for a second. Who is that? Is that Veronica? Veronica, are you happy? Your sustainability, EDC, and CIO review. Is there anything else there that you think you could, like, I'm just looking at the even bar chart here.
No, I'm likely going to.
Yes, you are.
So that rather.
Right, okay.
Probably doesn't-
All right, sounds good. Heather, you got some big daytime hitters. Hazel, you got 5. You're gonna be busy. Brandon, you're good. Evenings, and evenings. So there you go. That's 4 evening ones for you. Cindy, you're full. Jonathan, you see evening, and once a year. So you're good. And I'm the same. Everybody good?
Very happy.
Are you good, Hazel? With those? Yeah. How many?
Library, lights, crack. Foothills.
Cemetery and landfill go together.
Yep. So
Yeah, and Prac, we can start the discussion.
Prac is gonna be a very busy one.
No,
Cemetery and landfill go together.
Yes, totally missed it.
I mean, she
I
just
figured
slid
you
that out.
guys
real
down on the
slightly.
cemetery board, I can
Oh,
give
that
a
was-
discount.
That was a good one. That was really good. Totally missed it. Alternates. I got MPC, Jonathan, your municipal IMC, is that it? What is that?
That's the thing that we're
It's
gonna
gonna be
be.
next week at ICF. And CR review, Cindy Cemetery, which lines up, Fresh, which lines up. Deputy Mayor for emergency. You're shy on, but then again, there's not a lot of alternates anyway.
there are really.
Veronica, your West End and Press, which you're affiliated with anyway. Good and good. So we're good. Yeah, all right. I like it.
Have I marked everything that is a term appointment correctly?
Yeah.
Oh, can we add the GDC as a term? Is that a term appointment?
That's all.
She's got on it.
Not like I have.
Probably do something for libraries.
We're working through that right now.
Are you?
Yeah, that'll be, that's something I guess I'll probably take.
Well, you're not there now.
I'm still there because we haven't come up with a new one yet.
Oh, that's right. Until they get the.
Yeah, until we were.
Okay, yeah, so we'll keep that.
Angel and I are still, yeah, like I still have to do
Yeah.
that probably until, I don't know,
Yeah, so it's
March,
done.
April.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on whenever we finish it, but I think he gave us 6 months to do this library.
I will give you a motion, Ms. Berna, to adopt the
Okay,
council
great.
appointments
Yeah, hopefully
as
it's ready.
presented.
It's not for me, but if we want. Sorry, Barry, what was that?
I gave Berna a motion to adopt the council appointments as presented.
What's up, Barry?
I did have a question with the IMC,
Yeah, go ahead.
and that's two. What did we have before? Like, we
It's
were
brand
meeting,
new,
right?
it's brand new.
And my first year was there, because then we, as a council, attended the,
It used to be the
Session
joint
and
and municipal, blah, blah.
so do you remember when they first rolled out the ICFs in High River, they had a whole regional training
Yeah, yeah.
day on it?
So that's what that would do.
Gotcha.
But the foothills are already well into it,
Yeah.
Barb, Castell, and
We used to include
Nowhere.
Longview.
Yeah.
The call.
Steering.
Heather,
Steering committee, that's what it used to be
It
called.
was called that. Yeah,
Hazel,
I've only met once with them.
it's a useless committee. Hazel?
May I ask the administration to ensure that this motion is sent to the library?
Yeah, she
We
always does that.
update everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody will get informed who their appointees are, and we'll post it, once it's pretty, we'll post it to the website as well.
I like this.
So my motion is to adopt this document as presented. Anybody got anything to say? Now's your time. 3, 2, 1, all in favor. That's carried. Any other business, Mr. Patience?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, there is.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
we're
Well, I
not
take
done.
the public back.
There's a toolbox.
So,
Oh,
the
sorry,
health and
there
safety
is.
toolbox is exactly what I'm talking about. This is what council should be seeing versus being on the committee.
My brain hurts. I don't even know where it is.
Can we postpone that to another day?
Next meeting,
We don't need to see this,
How long is it? There's my question.
do we?
5 minutes, but I also still have to give the new counselors their key cards and security run through.
Yeah.
So if you want, we could postpone this.
Let's
till the
table
18th.
this till next week. Yep.
Sounds very good.
Defer.
Thanks,
Do
Vernon.
I have a motion to do that?
I'll give it to you.
Motion to
For
defer.
the health and safety toolbox to January the 18th.
That's good for Wednesday.
All things considered.
All in
I mean, I
favor?
had the org meeting, that would have been a quick meeting.
It actually went pretty well.
To burn the health and safety.
For the health and safety, can I get a hand there, bro?
It's all yours.
That's carried.
We need for
I needed a motion to approve.
It's all yours.
Your motion.
it. Okay.
Okay.
So for you lovely folks coming to us from Turner Valley for the first time, I need to do an off-camera
Yep.
security training to give you your card keys and get your codes. You
Okay.
need your code.
Is there anything